Minnesota Vikings have done some cap-saving moves this offseason and are always in relatively good salary cap shape, even though the Vikings are a little bit tight right now. But there's always moves. There's always flexibility. Hashtag cap is a myth because... So the thing about the salary cap is every single dollar that gets paid to a player has to be accounted at some point in the salary cap. Now, the art of which Rob Brzezinski has been so good at is when those cap charges occur. And you see it often where teams will front load deals if they're rebuilding. Teams will add void years and kick the can down the road a bit if they feel like they're in a window. And the Vikings, find themselves where they want to be competitive, they want to get after it, but also they're looking towards the future. And the Vikings are, finding ways to clear some veteran contracts off the books from the Spielman era, but they are incurring a fair amount of dead cap for 2023. So as of right now, the Vikings have 27.02 blah blah blah, around 27 million in dead cap on the books this year, and with a base salary cap of 224.8, that's roughly 12% of the Vikings operating budget. Cap-wise, this year is going to dead cap. Now, of course, they're not in the worst shape at all. The team with the least amount of dead cap is the Bengals right now with about $500,000, so respect. But the Vikings, 8th. You have the Bucks and the Eagles up there at 1, 2. Of course, you got the Rams at 3. Now, the Bucks, a lot of it has to do with Tom Brady. So what happens is that when teams add these void years and then the player leaves or the contract voids, then all the chickens come home to roost that next season. Now, you weather the storm, and then you're going to be out of it, similar to how the Vikings are going to have to deal with Kirk Cousins' dead cap charge in 2024, but it is what it is. The Eagles, ironically, their largest dead cap is Fletcher Cox, who they cut and then they're bringing back. It's funny, but also guys like Brandon Brooks, Javon Hargrave had voided contracts or void years added to their deal, so that is coming home to roost this year too. And it's ironic because it's in a year where they're looking to extend Jalen Hurts, and they're sort of hurting in terms of dead money this year because you look, like we said, the Bucks, about a third of their cap space this year is dead, about a quarter for the Eagles and the Rams and the Panthers, ironically. So I mean, there's still ways to get around the cap. But like I said, the art is when that cap charge does come due, and the Vikings are juggling right now, even though there's still several moves that they can make, restructuring O'Neal, trading Za'Darius, trading Dalvin if they want to free up some more cap space. And a lot of this is still left over from the Spielman years. It is. And pretty Ricky, I loved him as a GM. I think that he was smarter than the average Bear. I think that he was solid. I think that his batting average was pretty good. I think people harp too much on missing on Christian Ponder or Treadwell or stuff like that. They don't give him enough credit for Jefferson or Darisaw, etc. So it is what it is. But Vikings dead money numbers right now. So Adam Thielen, Diesel, Dalvin Tomlinson are the two runaway leaders in dead cap. Now with Tomlinson, it isn't so much that so here's what happens. Like when you add void years or dead cap on a player, generally you want him on the roster, because otherwise you're being charged cap wise for a player who's not even on your team. Man, I'm not on your team. But with Diesel, his 2-year deal, with the 3 void years, $2.5 million each, that all came due this year after he signed his monster deal with the Browns. So obviously the Vikings weren't going to match that. And with Thielen, so Thielen is twofold, where should he have gotten that 4-year extension, $64 million, a couple years ago from Spielman? Probably not. But then Kwesi last offseason restructured Thielen, so kicking the can down the road a bit on some cap charges to free up some space. Now, you generally only restructure players that are going to be on the team during the duration of the restructure. Like, you don't want to restructure guys who you're just going to cut the next year, because then, like with Thielen now, you have that large cap hit. So the Vikings will weather that storm. But some of these other names too. All right, so Jesse Davis, you remember him? Yeah, all right, so Kwesi signed him, and then eventually he was let go in camp. Patrick Peterson is about $750,000, and then you have the draft picks. So when you part ways with draft picks after 1 or 2 years, especially if they're mid-round picks, they are going to incur some pretty decent dead cap numbers. So Kellen Mond, 3rd-round pick, Chas Surratt, 3rd-round pick, Wyatt Davis, 3rd-round pick. Yeah, basically, Spielman just gutted that 2021 3rd round. They only kept Patrick Jones 2nd, which He's pretty damn good. Janaris Robinson is gone. Cameron Tiny Dancer and ISM going to count a couple $100K on the books as well. But like I said, the main culprits for this large dead cap number is Thielen and Tomlinson, totaling up around 21 million in change towards the dead cap. And part of that is on Spielman. Part of it that is sort of whatever at this point. But I'm okay. Like I said, there's always ways around it, and it's not like you're not going to be able to field a team. Like, that's not going to happen. But the Vikings did some cap gymnastics, and Kwesi, respect. They're clearing up the books for 2024, even with Kirk Cousins' dead cap charge, and they're clearing up the books for 2025, and then they're going to extend Jefferson and Darisaw and TJ. And if they get their guy, the franchise quarterback, on the rookie deal, they'll be able to flex quite a bit in free agency going forward. So we'll see what happens there. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings currently 8th in the NFL in terms of dead cap at 27 million. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.